Good morning. It's Sunday, June 25th, and the Supreme Court had a ruling the other day that amazed. Neil Gorsuch, a staunch conservative, voted with the liberals. The case was still decided at a 5-4 in favor of the conservative group and against the Navajo Nation. Now, apparently, over the course of his time at the Supreme Court, Neil Gorsuch has always been on the side of the Native American tribes. And this is not the first time that he has come in and attempted to rescue the Indian Nation from something that he sees as attempting to destroy them. And he was very passionate about his dissent to the majority. He said, well, what you are doing to the Navajo Nation is like a person who is waiting online at the Department of Motor Vehicles. You are treating these people like they are not human. And every time the Navajo Nation has come before you in this situation, you have said, try again, try again. And at each turn they have tried again. But they haven't gotten what they really want. They haven't been given the water rights that they are entitled to. So in fact, Gorsuch's pleas for the Native Americans has led many to believe that he has Native American ancestry. Now that wouldn't be bad, but that would be a discriminatory type of practice where personal life came into the decision-making of the Supreme Court. We know for sure that none of these justices would have an inkling of doing anything like that. At the crux of the matter involved in this suit, High Court ruled 5-4 in Arizona versus the Navajo Nation that under the 1868 treaty, the U.S. is not required to secure water for the Navajo Nation. Now, Justice Brett Kavanaugh, who delivered the majority opinion, argued that the Navajo Nation was asking the federal government to take affirmative steps to secure water for the Navajos. Now, I don't know what that really entails. What does it mean to secure water for the Navajos? Aren't they entitled to water? Are they going someplace to steal water from some population that needs it? Some person who has a lake or something? It's a very mysterious situation to me. There's got to be plenty of water nearby for the Navajos to get. But maybe there isn't. And Gorsuch disagrees with the majority opinion. In his statement, he said, you are accusing the Navajo Nation of something that they never did. The tribe is seeking modest relief, far more modest than you are making it out to be. The Navajos have a simple ask. They want the United States to identify the water rights it holds for them. And if the United States has misappropriated the Navajo water rights, the tribe has asked it to formulate a plan to stop doing so, to please stop using their water. Gorsuch was nominated to the court by President Trump. In fact, he was the Supreme Court justice that took the place of the seat that had been reserved for Merrick Garland when Barack Obama appointed Garland, or asked for Merrick Garland to be appointed. And at that point, there were 8 months to go before the presidential election, and Mitch McConnell, as you all remembered, stalled for those 8 months and never had a vote on Merrick Garland. And so Neil Gorsuch got his shot, and he's a Supreme Court justice. And he's conservative to the core, except where it comes to the rights of Native Americans. He's got a long history of favoring the indigenous rights. And his dissent in the Arizona versus the Native American case was twice as long as the majority opinion. Now, maybe he is a better writer than his compatriot. Who knows? But he wrote a long-winded minority opinion. Now, according to Gorsuch, the Navajo Nation never really wanted to take this case to the Supreme Court. They were trying to avoid it, but I guess their backs were against the wall and they had to do it. And the U.S. has never denied that the Navajo Indians have water rights in the mainstream of the Colorado River and maybe someplace else. And that water is being held in trust for the tribe. That's what Gorsuch wrote. But the government has said that the Navajo can have all they ask for. They just need to go someplace else and do it first. What does that mean exactly? That they have to look for other water and prove to the government that they have looked for other water someplace else? It's very misleading, this entire article, in some way. And Gorsuch contends they have tried it all. They have written to federal officials. They have done a lot of things. And they have moved to the court to clarify the United States' responsibility when it's supposed to be representing them. And they sought to get directly involved in the water-related litigation. But all of those efforts were rebuffed. So how can the government say they didn't try? They did try. So they brought this claim to compel the United States to make good on its treaty obligation by providing an accounting of what water rights it holds on their behalf. And all the government comes back and says, try again. Can't the government write a document that says, these are your water rights? You are entitled to this, this, and this? Doesn't make any sense to me why a nation that consists of 350,000 people is denied a basic right, the right to water. What also disturbs me about this whole case is that Gorsuch is writing and fighting for a personal belief, not the law. And I believe that personal beliefs in many cases is something that these justices fall into that trap. I believe that many justices twist the law to their own personal beliefs. And that is not what the Supreme Court justices are supposed to do. That is not what the Supreme Court is all about. So they can interpret the law any way they want on any given case. So the Navajo Nation has sought since 2003 to get the United States government to make sure that the Navajo Nation had access to water on its reservation. And it's over 20 years later that finally this case wound up in the Supreme Court. Gorsuch lays it on the majority and says the majority of this court has neglected to take into account the violent history of the 1868 decision that gave the Navajo Nation this particular reservation. So this case proves to me that Supreme Court justices do have personal opinions and personal beliefs that are very strong. And this case just shows what a justice could do to meet his or her preconceived correct decision. And I believe that all justices could be accused of twisting the words of the Constitution to meet what they believe is correct. Have a great day. Bye.